IELTS Speaking Part 2 is a piece of cake if you know what you're doing. Let's find out how you can succeed in IELTS Speaking Part 2. Hello, this is Keith from the Keith Speaking Academy and the YouTube channel English Speaking Success. So, in IELTS Speaking Part 2, people get nervous. They get lost. And they get confused. Right? And so they get a low score on IELTS Speaking, all because of Part 2. So how do you handle it? How do you succeed in IELTS Speaking Part 2? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 6 tips and lots of useful phrases you can use to guarantee your success. I'm also going to tell you about a challenge that I'm running together with ELSA mobile app, where you can practice these phrases and help you improve and so get a higher score in IELTS Speaking. If you don't know ELSA, it's an amazing mobile app that will help you, improve pronunciation, learn new vocabulary and build your confidence. It's great. I am a big fan. More about that later. Right now, let's get into the first tip. So tip number 1, plan a clear structure. Now, you may know, or maybe you don't. In IELTS Speaking Part 2, suddenly the examiner will give you a task card, a piece of paper, and a pen or a pencil. And you have 1 minute to prepare. It's really important in that minute to get an idea. Get an idea quickly, one idea that is good enough. Don't spend the whole minute thinking of different ideas, one idea, and then use that minute to prepare your structure. Of course, you have the bullet points that can guide you, but what you want to write down is what you're going to talk about. So, for example, if the question is describe a person you think is intelligent, right? I may write down something like this. I'm going to talk about my father and about, what he does, but he's retired. I can talk about the job he had. I'll say that he's intelligent because of the advice he gives me, and also he plays chess. And this will stop you getting lost. Where am I? What was I talking about? What was the question? The structure. So important. Don't write a lot. You haven't got enough time. Just some keywords. Structure, so important. And do remember, when you're speaking, you keep this and the task card, you keep it in front of you. You use it. A bit like politicians giving a speech, you use it to guide you. So, for example, it might look something like this. Well, I'm going to tell you about my father. He's retired at the moment, but he used to be a da-da-da-da-da-da. I think he's intelligent because, he gives very good advice. I remember one time he da-da-da-da-da-da. And also, what's more, we play chess and he's a very good chess player. He usually beats me, blah, 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 blah. And that's the person I want to describe. This is your roadmap. This is your structure. Make sure you have one. Don't get lost. Tip number 2 is be direct at the start. So remember, in part 2, you can talk for 1 to 2 minutes. I recommend you talk at least 1.5 minutes. Now, you might not know how long that is, although if you have been practicing at home, you should have a good feeling, right? If you're not sure, keep talking until the examiner stops you. So be direct. Some students, I think, make the mistake of giving a kind of an introductory lecture or talk about the topic. Like intelligence, describe an intelligent person. Well, intelligence is an important aspect of human nature. There are different kinds of intelligence, emotional intelligence, and no, stop. Talk about the person or tell the examiner directly who you're going to talk about. For example, the person I'm going to describe is my father. boom, bam. Otherwise, any kind of preamble or talk or lecture is going to confuse the examiner and will not help you. You can use a nice little idiom here. You can say, the person I'm going to describe is none other than my father. None other than. Difficult, right? Can you say that? None other than. None other than my father. When we're talking about something or a person that may be a surprise to the listener, you can say, well, it's none other than my father. The person I'm going to talk about is none other than my mother, right? If you're going to talk about a place, right, your favorite place, just say, I'm going to tell you about my favorite place. It is, boom, direct. So be direct at the start. Don't ramble. Don't digress. Don't go around all the houses. Get to the point. By the way, as I mentioned at the start of the video, I'm doing a challenge in collaboration with ELSA on the ELSA mobile app. In that challenge, you can practice all of these useful phrases for IELTS Speaking Part 2. You can practice the pronunciation of the words, the word stress, the phrases, the chunks. You can even practice in conversations. It's absolutely brilliant, even if I say so myself. I'm really excited about it. I think you'll love it. It's going to help you not only build pronunciation, but help you learn phrases like this and build your confidence. The links are down below in the description if you want to download the ELSA app, but I'm going to tell you a bit more about it later on. For now, let's get into tip number 3. Tip number 3 is to use different tenses. Sometimes students ask me, Keith, in IELTS Speaking Part 2, which tense should I use? There's no answer. You can use any tense depending on the meaning you want to give. What's important, I think, is in IELTS, you need to show off a wide range of grammatical structure, including different tenses. So Part 2 is a great opportunity to do that. Very often, there are opportunities to talk about things in the past, things in the present, and things in the future, if it feels comfortable. I want to show you now, in this video, one technique. It's a special storytelling technique to describe events or activities. It's as old as the hills, but it's really powerful. And it's about using the present tenses to describe a story in the past. Sounds strange, right? But let's see an example, okay? Let's imagine we've been asked to describe an event. And I begin like this. It happened about 2 months ago. I was waiting for a friend inside a coffee bar. This woman came in and started talking really loudly on her phone. Then she sat next to me. It was so noisy, I asked her to be quiet. Now, if you look at the structure, we've got the time it happened is usually the simple past. It happened 2 months ago. When we set the scene, we usually use the past continuous. I was waiting for a friend. I was sitting in a bar, setting the scene. And then there's a series of actions which are often in the simple past. She came in, she started talking, she sat next to me, different actions. That's great. Already you've got some different tenses there. But look what happens if we change and introduce the present tense. Have a look at this. It happened about 2 months ago. I was waiting for a friend inside a coffee bar. Then this woman comes in and starts talking really loudly on her phone. And then she sits next to me. Oh, it was so noisy, I asked her to be quiet. Now, can you see what's happening? We've got the time is the same, the setting of the scene is the same, but then I switch to this woman comes in and starts talking, the present simple. What this does is it makes the action really vivid and alive, almost as if you can see the woman here in the conversation, right? It brings it to life. It's a really powerful technique. And then very often when we're concluding, talking about the final actions, you go back to the past, right? It was noisy. I asked her to be quiet. It's a very powerful storytelling technique. It's quite tricky, so you need to practice it a lot. And there are no rules about when you switch tense. It's just the feeling you want to create. But try it out, practice it. And now that I've told you, I think as you start listening to stories, you'll probably start noticing the use of the present tenses to describe past events. Very powerful, very useful. Give it a go. Practice, but only use it if you feel confident. Okay? Great. Let's move on. Tip number 4, use some flexible templates. I'm a big fan of templates, right? A template is really a set phrase, but where you change one or two of the words each time you use it. I think templates are great because they can build your confidence. They can give you flexibility. And in a way, they're better than set phrases or idioms because those are fixed and you memorize them. The template, you're changing it each time you use it, but it's so powerful. For example, right, IELTS Speaking Part 2. I'd like to kick off by telling you, that's the template. I'd like to kick off by telling you what happened. I'd like to kick off by telling you the agenda for today's meeting. I'd like to kick off by telling you what I think about this piece of work. It's such a great template, very flexible when you're starting anything, especially IELTS Speaking Part 2. Another one describing an event, right? This took place, This took place quite a while back. This took place 2 months ago. This took place last year, actually. Great. Another one, if we're describing a place, it's one of the places I have visited. It's one of the most amazing places I've visited. It's one of the most beautiful places I've visited. Actually, it's one of the cheapest places I've visited. Can you see? These nice templates are giving you lots of language and flexibility, helping you show off your grammatical range as well. There are many more, and you can find them in the ELSA challenge I'm doing. If you don't know ELSA mobile app, then let me just show you how it works. It's great, right? So especially if you're an IELTS student, you'll notice you can practice IELTS topics, right? You can practice part 1, part 2 and part 3. And look at that, even part 3, you can look at different conversations and practice your pronunciation in the whole conversation. Also, ELSA have created quite a few challenges with teachers, and my challenge is in here. And let's have a look at how one of these parts of the challenges works. You can practice individual sounds, differentiating sounds, and then the words in context. This is nice. Have a look at this one, okay? It asked me to practice the difference between these two.
Coast.
That's coast. Great. Continue. And let's have a look here.
Cart. Card.
Cart. Card. Cart. And notice card. Of course, card, when you have the voiced D at the end, the vowel is longer.
Cart. Card.
Card is the second one. Yes, great. It's absolutely brilliant. You can do lots of practice, improve pronunciation, build up your vocabulary, and also your confidence. It's great. Now, when you go to sign up for ELSA, because you're my students, we have some discounts for you. If you sign up for a 1-year plan, you can get a 30% discount off the original price. If you go for the lifetime membership, you get a whopping 80% off. And then you've got ELSA in your phone forever. And it's great because they're adding so much new stuff, new challenges, new information, new topics, and you get access to all of that forever for a one-time payment. Go and check it out in the links below. Right now, let's get back to those tips. Tip number 5, use cohesive devices. Cohesive devices are these words or little phrases that connect your sentences and your ideas. It's like the glue that holds your ideas and your speech together. Sometimes they're called discourse markers, linkers, connectors, right? And without them, then your speech and sentences just are disconnected. There's no logic. It's hard to follow. They're really important. Some of the basic ones are, first of all, to kick off when you're beginning, right? When you're going in sequence, after that, next. When you're changing topic, anyway. When you're concluding, finally, in the end. Right? And all of these are so important because they make it easy for the examiner to follow you, and so you will get a higher score. It's one of the main criteria for fluency in the IELTS band descriptors, so it's really important. Here are some more examples. In the middle of a story, changing direction. Anyway, what happened next was... Nice. When you're coming to the end, often in IELTS Part 2, we have to talk about our feelings, right? You may say, and when it comes to my feelings, I'd say I felt really happy about it. When it comes to my feelings, I'd say... Or you could say, as far as my feelings are concerned, I'd say I was over the moon. Say it with me. As far as my feelings are concerned, there's a kind of a linking. As far as my feelings are concerned, I was over the moon. Or I'd say I was over the moon. Different possibilities, right? These are great cohesive devices you can be using to give cohesion to your answers and really impress the IELTS examiner. Remember, you can practice these in the ELSA mobile app speaking challenge. Let's move on to tip number 6. The final tip, and maybe the best, is tip number 6, get into the flow. So I think all of the above tips are really good, in my humble opinion. And this one is also really important. So sometimes when students are in IELTS Speaking Part 2, they kind of forget the grammar and all the tips and what they should be doing, and they just start talking and it just flows. And you can see them get into a flow and they just come out with this lovely, natural spoken English, lovely descriptions, lovely storytelling, and it just works. And it's great because remember, IELTS Speaking is a test of your natural spoken English, not academic English. So getting into the flow sometimes and allowing this creativity and language to come out naturally is really great. Of course, it depends on your personality and possibly on your level and how much you've prepared. But if you've done lots of preparation and you've got the confidence, it can be really great to just get into the flow. And I think, creativity is really important because creativity is your uniqueness, right? When you speak, every sentence you create is unique. It's your creativity coming out. If you're going to migrate abroad and live in a new community and country, that community doesn't want a robot. They need your creativity. They need to listen to you creatively expressing your ideas in English. Same if you go to study abroad at university. They don't need another robot to come into the class. They want to hear somebody using English creatively. They need your creativity. It's about what you can give them. It's your responsibility to be creative and to speak the best that you can. So I think it's really important. If you're going for an IELTS band 7, 8 or 9, then don't be too straight, too narrow-minded. Don't just imitate lots of phrases. Open up, Be creative. Get into the flow. Let yourself shine. And you'll get the score that you need. So follow the above tips. Start using these phrases, and I am confident you have a great chance to succeed in IELTS Speaking Part 2. Remember, I think the success is in the practice, so just practice as much as you can. Remember the challenge in ELSA. You can go into the challenge I'm doing, start practicing there straight away. The links are down below. If you sign up for a 1-year membership, you do get a 30% discount. And if you sign up for lifetime membership, there's a massive 80% discount. Insane, but great. Go and check out the links down below, and you can have ELSA in your pocket for the rest of your life. Fantastic. So if you've liked the video, do remember to subscribe and turn on the notifications. It's been a pleasure, as always, spending this time with you. I hope it helps. Good luck with your test, and I will see you in a few moments in the next video. Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.